I wanted to drill in on the point of getting to that breakthrough idea.
Yeah.
So can you say a little bit more about, yes, now you have agency. Now you recognize that you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions. How does that get them closer to that breakthrough idea that they want?
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, typically, for someone to have the kind of drive and motivation to
Mhm.
not just have the idea, because I want to also create a distinction between having an idea and actually executing on it. Okay.
Mhm.
A lot of people have ideas.
Mhm.
Very few people actually take the steps to make those ideas come into reality.
Mhm.
And typically the reason why they don't, and if you were to like list the top reasons, you'll see that they're all based on adherence to that identification with the mind and the thoughts that's going through the person's self-talk.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of fear usually involved in that.
Mhm.
Oh, why should I do that? Google's just going to copy it and do it and put me out of business. That's a classic one. Or I don't have the time. I have 3 kids. There's no way I could have the time to do that. All these very reasonable, by the way.
I will make money as a full-time musician.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
all those things. Yeah.
what's so tricky and insidious about them is that they all seem quite reasonable.
Mhm.
And they kind of make sense, right? If you were having a conversation with a friend or an advisor or mentor, you wouldn't sound crazy, is my point. You'd sound quite reasonable.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of the point is that if we're going to achieve something new, you're talking about a breakout idea, it's going to take not only a state of mind that's unreasonable, it's going to take an attitude to move forward that is also unreasonable to achieve something unreasonable, which is the situation you're setting up for me in this question, which is I want to do a breakout product, right? If you said to me, oh, I want to create a company that does no innovation, that just creates something that already exists. And by the way, you could do that. You could say, I want to create a candle company that just makes little candles like lots of other companies, and I just want to do it and make a few dollars through doing that. Whatever. It'll take very little time and innovation to actually probably pull that off. But if you want to create something out of the box, it's going to require a totally different mindset, which is the first part of our conversation, which means you must detach from all the things that will bring you down. Because what will get in the way for most entrepreneurs is their own mindset.
Yep.
And it's about being unreasonably persistent and not taking rejection, because most rejection is reasonable rejection. A lot of companies and investors will reject you on reasonable grounds. That's just how the world works. And so you just have to be unreasonable to not accept them and just to keep going. And we know a million stories about how it was the unreasonability of the writer whose book was turned down by 50 publishers, but kept persisting and found the 51st publisher. The screenwriter who wanted a movie to get made, turned down by everyone, by every studio until they got it made. There's a million stories like this. And then we come to, okay, now you want to actually execute the idea. And there's a principle that I really believe in, which is the narrower we can create our boundaries, then the more freedom we have within that constraint.